This is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and you are listening to the Bulletcast. For life.
Yeah. Bulletcast. What's going on? Stacy. This elite podcast in here. Ain't nobody better. Look. Yeah. Listen to us every time we live in the side. When you turn it on, it's just defining the mind. If you feel it, our opinions is great. When everything we move.
Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is I, the microphone messiah, and I am joined by the current Bulletcast in the bank, Mr. Brandon Tanguma. BT, it's Wednesday/Thursday. How you doing, man?
Phillip, doing fantastic. Just the two of us once again. Had a fun time out in Stockton. Did some things. We're here. It's a beautiful sunny day. Last podcast while I'm 28, before I get to 29, and the next thing I'll be 30, and then just put me in the ground.
Yes. The big birthday is coming up. That's right. The 18th, correct?
See, next Tuesday.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. What are you doing for your birthday?
Probably not just enjoying a day off, because then I'll be working pretty much every day the rest of the week for the lovely Oakland Athletics.
I see. Yeah, I went up to Stockton. Shout out Danhausen. Very, very nice. Very, very evil. That was a fun one. That'll be up Friday. I went to West Coast Pro later that night. What a card. What a card, man. I mean, everybody showed out. Mao and Brian Keith, and I forget the dummy's name. That was fun. Shout out Surza's team. Surza, Jaya Jewel, JT Thorne, and the other individual's name who was on their team. I'm forgetting his name. They defeated Lights Camera Faction. That was fun. And then Titus Alexander and Vinny Massaro. A 27-minute classic. Unbelievable. The Burning Hammer. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my. Straight on his dome. Luckily, Titus is okay. But just fantastic. Fantastic contest. Great show by West Coast Pro. Scott, everybody over there, they did amazing. It was good stuff. Very, very good.
Yeah, saw some clips online. Saw you posted some. Baby Huey posted some stuff. It did look like a fun show.
You should have been there, buddy.
Should have been. No one invited me.
Wow. Wow. That's okay, man. Come out to Oasis Pro, July 22nd. Go time, Gilman Brewery.
Oh, well, I'm working that day.
Wow.
It's like an awkward, late night, early afternoon time for me. So, yeah.
What time to get off?
Oh, I got to report at 3, games at 6. So, yeah, I won't be out until probably 9 o'clock.
Oh, that's fine. Just come to the after party.
Oh, okay. I would be someone's designated driver.
Hello. All right. SmackDown. Oh, God. Oh, man. What? I mean, to open with a nearly 40-minute segment and then to have them come back and get some more time at the end. Come on. We call it cinema. The term cinema has been used. I named the episode Master Oos Theater because that's what this is. Shout out Stat Guy Greg from the Cheap Heat podcast. I believe he came up with that term. I heard him say it, so that's what this all is. That's what all of this is. Master Oos Theater. I mean, the Usos come out there and, they do their whole spiel. Roman's, Paul Heyman talks on the mic, walks out with Solo. Then Roman's music hits. They play a video package of Roman just berating and talking down and demeaning everyone. And he's like, that's not who I am. I got my daughter in the back. She's looking at me like she doesn't know who I am. He's like, you want this? You want the lay? Puts the lay on Jay. Takes off the undisputed title. Gets down. He was so distraught. Creased
the low ones.
The low ones. And the man crying on his knees. And then a low blow. And then the complete and utter annihilation of Jimmy Uso as Jay had to watch. Jimmy is taken out of the arena. Now, before we get to the ending, what are your thoughts on the opening segment? Unbelievable.
I thought the opening segment was absolutely fantastic. You know, it was long, whatever was it, 38 minutes, 48 minutes in total. And it deserved every single second of it. You know, in today's culture, in today's wrestling, there's a lot of swerves for the sake of swerves. And this was a swerve that was justified. Now, dating coming back, I wish, there were less swerves in wrestling. So this one meant even more. But Roman getting down on one knee or getting down on both knees, crying, trying to lure Jay in just to uppercut him and hit him with the low blow. It all made sense, and just the intensity, and even just like the little moments of Solo picking up the lei, looking at it, the crowd was erupting, telling him to put it on, and he doesn't do anything, so we don't know what he was going to do because he gets cut off by, I forget by which one, but an Uso, and then as you said, kind of goes down, and the whole Jimmy beatdown was fantastic and intense. So there was so many little parts of it, but it all worked perfectly.
How did you forget which Uso?
Because I forgot, there was a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of stuff going on.
You got distracted by the red.
But I will say, after this whole Bloodline storyline, I was very hard for me to tell which one was Jay and which one was Jimmy. You kind of I would go off the tattoos personally, but now I can tell. It also helps they're kind of like different hairstyles and stuff. But nowadays, and I would assume this is the case for pretty much every other WWE fan out there, they can tell the difference between the Usos. Now, it took them 12, 13 years to figure it out, but we finally did it.
I mean, I could always tell the difference. I'm just going to put that out
You're a better person than me.
Yes. I'm going to go to a fan mail about this because Nigerian Prince writes in, highest grossing SmackDown on U.S. soil, highest grossing WWE event ever at the Garden. Now, Roman is the longest reigning world champion of the WrestleMania era. The Bloodline are breaking all the records in WWE. It is truly a special sight to see. And that it is, man. I mean, let's really talk about that. The highest grossing SmackDown on U.S. soil. Really think about when SmackDown was created. Austin, Rock, Angle, DX. Madison Square Garden. Bruno Sammartino. A record that Roman is indeed chasing. When he was running wild as WWE champion back in the day, he sold out the Garden nearly 200 times, 187 to be exact. And people wanted to see the aftermath of what happened at Money in the Bank specifically. They wanted to see the Bloodline of what was going to happen. And I mean, come on, man. They keep breaking records. This is phenomenal. This is truly a sight to see. It's a special time to be a wrestling fan and to witness this. And it's gotten to the point where I think you'll remember key moments. Like, I remember where I was when Sammy turned on Roman, when Jimmy did it, when Jay did it, Well, I remember where I was when Roman was pinned, and then obviously we'll remember where we were whenever he loses the championships. It's something special. Then later on, after we have like 12 minutes left of SmackDown after the Edge match, which Edge surprise match in the Garden is always cool. Jay comes back to the building. He takes out Solo, gives it to Roman, picks up that title. He says, he's judge, jury, and executioner. It's just he just wants Roman, and so obviously we're going Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, undisputed title, SummerSlam, main event. This is cool. What a way to come back around. I can't hear a thing.
It would help if I unmuted my microphone.
You're so impacted by this. You're speechless.
Exactly. I got to do that at least once an episode, but it's fantastic. Full circle. And I would assume this isn't even the end of the story. There's a lot of people championing and saying that Jay should be the one to take the title off of Roman. I still lean towards Cody being that guy, but because if you're going to you've spent 3 years almost at this point putting that equity into Roman's character, probably should put it on someone who is going to be a top guy. Jay, you can get a big bump right off the bat, but I don't know if he can kind of carry that for the next 5 years. When I think Cody can. And the story has been absolutely fantastic and kind of back to the drawing and stuff. And that we talk about it. The if the main event is hot, everything else kind of falls into place, and we're seeing like the Alpha Academy stuff. Like that is kind of corny and kind of stupid, but the crowd is just so into it. And like, the drawing money, and that has to do with inflation and Madison Square Garden and some other things, but still, who would have thought a couple years ago, coming out of the pandemic, WWE would be just not white hot on fire, but they're doing very good business right now. And it's also the perfect time for them to do that because their TV contracts are coming up. And they can point at all these metrics and say, like, look, guys, we deserve to get a bump. And also with the writer strike and all that other stuff that we're not going to get into, that probably also helps their case to get some extra money.
Yes. A lot of things are going into it. Oh God. It was really fun to watch, man. I mean, to be that invested into a story that's being told over the course of years, I know I've gone on to say, this is the greatest story that's ever been told. I'm going to kind of hone back on that right now because, it's not over. It's not over yet. And there will be recency bias, obviously. But I mean, I think, when can we have that conversation, Brandon? Like 5 years from now? I can't hear you. Oh, you did it twice now.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at things. I'm trying to do two things at once, and that's why I got tiny brain and can't be doing that stuff. But in the moment, you can't really know how much this impacts and how this kind of fits in historically. But it definitely we're in a moment right now, in a time.
We are in a moment.
I would say that the Bloodline is definitely up there, greatest story possibly, if not definitely, ever told in wrestling.
Can we talk about the way Solo looked at the lay and the way Roman looked at him looking at it? Can we talk about that?
I mean, someone definitely didn't bring that up in his long-winded soliloquy. And then forgot which Uso cut him off.
Yeah. I mean, I was just thinking about, all the metrics and all the layers of this. I went in my own little world. I'm sorry. But I mean, God, this is just good. This is just fantastic. And then, with WWE coming to town and stuff, I mean, it's a few months from now, but still, we'll see. We'll basically be getting the fallout of all of it. Yeah. You have anything else to speak about Tribal Court?
No, not really. I mean, we went last week, and I was like, I don't know what they're going to do and how it's all going to pan out, but they proved me wrong, and it was fantastic.
Yes, it was. The Grayson Waller effect happened. Edge was the guest. Edge coming back to MSG, talking about how his first pay-per-view was Survivor Series of 98 in that building when he teamed with Sable to go up against Mark Mero and Jacqueline. And then it leads to a match, Grayson Waller versus Edge. Grayson Waller's been put in a very interesting spot. The thing with Cena at Money in the Bank, having a random match with Edge on a SmackDown. They see big things for this guy.
Yeah, I mean, Grayson Waller, I don't know what his ceiling is, but at this point, I would say I would take him over Austin Theory right now. And I probably wouldn't have said that, going into WrestleMania or 6 months ago, but he's just, I kind of want to put him like in that Miz category, which is kind of like a backhanded compliment a little bit because he can be
It's not a backhanded compliment though. I mean, Miz, he has longevity, he main evented a WrestleMania.
I mean, as a heel currently in this iteration, I feel like he does the talk show segments, which is, whatever, kind of everyone does that.
Yeah.
But I think his promo work and his wrestling ability is pretty good.
Yeah, like he does, and like with the promo in the talk show segment, he doesn't have to wrestle every week, which is good. Have him wrestle less, and when he does, make it matter. I think that's a great thing to do. I like Grayson Waller. I'm a fan. I really am. Edge looked great in this. I know we're going to Toronto next month, and he talked about that kind of a year ago and how he wanted it to wind down. But I mean, he's just going at such a pace right now. What's the perfect scenario for Edge to retire officially this time?
I don't know. WrestleMania is in Philly. There's no real connection there. maybe it is just kind of you really build up some at either a pay-per-view or even like a Raw or something. I don't know. I mean, are you talking about like win, whom?
Yeah, like I mean, when he was in the world title tournament, and he cut that promo on Instagram. I mean, it made sense. He wins, he holds the title, and if whenever he lost it, he'd be done. That made sense. I heard Sam Roberts say that, and it made sense to me. But I mean, I don't know. I don't who could be the person to do it. What story can Edge tell that leads to his official retirement?
You could go like the Kurt Angle route where someone like retires him.
But so you could do
But
that.
but I would put it like on a younger heel, like a Braun Breaker.
No,
Like who knows what?
I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm glad you mentioned that because Sam Roberts talked about that too. But if there's no plan for the person after, then it's a waste.
Yeah.
Like sure, Baron Corbin retired Kurt Angle, but what did he really do with it?
Nothing.
I go. Okay. He went on to win King of the Ring, so I guess something did happen. But yeah, you would like hell. Grayson Waller could. Yeah, I retired Edge for good this time. He could go around saying that, and it could lead to possibly a little mid card title run and things like that. I don't know. I don't know. AJ Styles defeated Karrion Kross very quickly. Jesus.
Yeah, I mean the tribal court thing went way over, and I think that just messed up everything. I think this is the match that took the brunt of that.
I think the Danhausen interview is longer than this match.
Probably. And we did not put as much, build up as WWE did into this match.
Yeah. I mean, can we get a rematch at SummerSlam? Karrion Kross needs a win. He needs a very big win. Or at least a win.
I mean, he hasn't won. I mean, I don't know what his or what his record is. I can look up his cage match, but every major match he's had or major feud he's had, he's lost.
I mean, he lost to Drew. He lost to Ray. Yeah, this is that. Is this better than when he was wearing a? What did Vince have him wearing? What, the helmet?
Yeah, he had the gimp outfit on.
Well, at least when he wore that, he won, right? Like,
I'm trying to remember. Like, I think he won his first week, and then I think he lost. Like,
no, like he showed up as NXT champion, lost to Jeff Hardy, and then beat Jeff Hardy for a few weeks, and then got like a couple more wins, and then that was it. Yeah, we're just gonna move on from all that. Outside of the ring, Mantar has passed away at the age of 55. Mike Halleck played Mantar. So a little recap of his career: Catch Wrestling Association in Germany from 91 to 94. Goes to the WWF from 94 to 95. His first couple matches were as Bruiser Mastino, defeating Nikita Koloff. And then January 7th of 1995, Superstars of Wrestling, he debuted as Mantar. And yeah, Jim Cornette was his manager. He came close to beating Razor Ramon for the IC title, but lost due to disqualification. He made an appearance in the 95 Royal Rumble. Lasted 9 minutes before getting eliminated by Lex Luger. Had a little run with Bret Hart in a couple matches. Wrestled Bob Holly, Bam Bam Bigelow. Yeah. Any thoughts about Mantar?
I mean, it was a kind of an infamous gimmick for that new generation with all the all those gimmicks. But to be honest, I didn't even know he passed away until I just learned it right now. And at 55, crazy. I mean, he was wrestling almost 30 years ago, so he was relatively young when he was doing that stuff back in the mid 90s. So
yeah, no, he had a little career, man. I mean, ECW from 95 to 96, goes back to the WWF in 96 as Goldust Unnamed Bodyguard. USWA for a little bit in 97, WCW in 97. Went back to the Catch Wrestling from 98 to 01. So yeah, no, I mean he had a nice little career, man. R.I.P. to Mantar. Thoughts and prayers going out to his friends, family, and fans. Happy birthday to the beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar. 46 years old, the alpha male of our species. He's older and scarier.
Happy birthday, Brock. Hope you have a good day.
Yes.
Please don't kill me.
Inside the ring, Camille, the fifth longest reigning NWA Women's Champion of all time at 766 days. She won the title back in June 6th of 2021.
Shout out.
So there are other long runs going on in wrestling, not just Romans, man.
Yeah, acknowledge Camille.
Yes, acknowledge Camille. AEW possibly doing monthly pay-per-views. Apparently, Time Warner Media, Warner Bros. Wants AEW's pay-per-view schedule to kind of pick up a pace and be more frequent. What are your thoughts?
Well, if it's pay-per-views, absolutely not. My bank account, my wallet would not like that. I have to start being a pirate.
What if you could do a bundle for a year? What if
possibly? But you said Warner, and there's Max out there, and we've been kind of speculating and wondering for a while if we could get some sort of AEW product on Max. And I think that would be the perfect opportunity. You drive traffic that way. You put, if you want to mix it up, you want to have kind of the core 4, core 5 still pay-per-views, but the rest, the other 7 months, you can have those be exclusive events on Max. But, straight up pay-per-views, I mean, it's going to help their bottom dollar just because there is probably a core, I don't know. I forget. I don't know. Do you know the pay-per-view numbers for AEW? I would probably say maybe there's a core 25 to 50,000 maybe that would be buying their pay-per-views every single time.
Let's see. Let's see what this says here. All the wrestling as it relates to an extension is
there we go. WrestleNomics. Yes. Got it.
Is the hold on, let me finish this. AEW as it relates to an extension of the subject of pay-per-views or PLE events. Specifically, Warner Brothers Discovery's source told Fightful that they mentioned the very likely possibility of significantly expanding the AEW pay-per-view schedule even to once a month. We're told that this is something that Warner Brothers Discovery has wanted. The report states that they're unsure whether these monthly events would be standalone pay-per-view events or part of the Max streaming service.
So I got the numbers, and this one only goes up to All Out last year. Shout out WrestleNomics, but they kind of hover right now, at least what this one says, around 140, 175,000. They peaked at All Out 2021 CM Punk's return at 215. So I would probably say if they go to a monthly pay-per-view, I mean, Double or Nothing, their first ever pay-per-view, 98,000. I probably would say they would go lower than that, maybe 75,000. A core, I would say a core 75,000 people would buy every single pay-per-view. Maybe it goes up some weeks or some months, but I don't know. I just don't think the juice is worth the squeeze, especially with them adding Collision and even, there's so much wrestling product. I don't think we need that.
Yeah, no, we don't. It's just speculation. We'll see. Alex Kane defeated Alex Hammerstone to become the new MLW World Champion, and that's on Boomaye. Shout out to Alex Kane, man. And it how long did Hammerstone hold that? 644 days, I believe. Was chasing my dog Fatu's record at 819. Almost got there. But shout out to Alex Kane, man. I've been watching this stuff for quite some time. Stories are very inspirational, man. They had to move his spleen or his stomach or something to the other side of his body, and his story is awesome, So I'm incredibly happy for him, man. I really am.
Yeah, good for him. Shout out Alex Kane. My second favorite Kane, behind Blue Kane, but not my least favorite Kane. That'd be Glenn Jacobs right now.
Let's see. The black man can still never be first. All right. WWE to the Bay. They are coming to the Bay Area. What is it? October 2nd, I know, is the SAP Center for Monday Night Raw. Let's see what the Chase Center. When are they coming here? Chase Center. Dun, 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 dun. They announced it September 30th, San Francisco. It's a Saturday, and then I know they're going to the Gold. And it's not the Bay Area, but the Golden One Center over in Sacramento. I know they will be over there as well, and that will be September 29th. So, guys, look, go to SeatGeek, use the code BulletCast, get $20 off of your first purchase. Go to SmackDown, go to Raw, go to the house show. Brandon, do you go to any of these?
I'm
You
looking.
haven't been in a while, man.
I have not been to a WWE show since, what was it, that Raw 2019 in San Francisco?
Yes.
So it's been quite some time since I've been to a WWE show, and I'm looking. I'm thinking I'm gonna get some of the boys together. We might do might go to that house show in San Francisco. Maybe if we get a plug, maybe go to Raw in San Jose. We'll have to see. But that kind of goes with the WWE product right now. I was someone who kind of fell out of favor and didn't want to go to a show, but now in its current state, I want to go check it out. And even a house show at that, which kind of doubles down.
The house shows be popping, I'll be saying, yeah. But yes, Bulletcast, that's the code on SeatGeek, $20 off your first purchase. Go check it out, please, please, please. CM Punk finally beat Samoa Joe. He finished his story before Cody. Yeah, so I like how they did it was AEW Collision, Owen Hart Tournament Cup, all that. Yeah, they played it up. It's been 19 years. They said the rivalry has restarted. It hasn't restarted. It was just a match. But we got his win. You finally got a win. Cool. Are they going to actually have a rivalry? They actually get a feud. I want to see it.
Well, he only won the roll up, so I would presume that we're going to get another match. I don't know if Samoa Joe maybe gets involved in the finals with Ricky Starks next week. Or maybe, I don't know. Maybe they get CM Punk and Samoa Joe on that ROH pay-per-view coming up in a week or two. But I mean, I thought the match was good. I thought they told a good story. They did the promos leading up to it. I think Collision has been a really good show these past few weeks. Like outside of the July 2nd, the 4th of July weekend show, which was kind of a give up. The other shows have been just phenomenal. It's different than Dynamite. It's a little slower paced, a little more deliberate, some more promos, some more, vignettes and stuff. And I've been very much enjoying it. And shout out to that tag team match with FTR and Bullet Club Gold. I thought it was a fantastic match.
You said something nice about Bullet Club Gold. Wow.
I know. And shout out Jay White. That man can spit. The man spit right on Dax Harwood's stomach, and that thing was just hanging.
Ew. I thought he busted out some rhymes. I was like, oh, really?
No, that would be that girl from QTV.
Oh, Delmi Exo, is that her name?
I don't know.
No.
Wasn't the worst wrestling rap I've ever heard, but it definitely was not the best.
Okay, all right. Moving on from that. But Samoa Joe, CM Punk, what's gonna happen? What are they gonna do?
Well, Samoa Joe choked out CM Punk at the end of the show, so that makes me believe we're not over with this yet, and that's why I kind of lean towards maybe Punk, or Joe gets involved in the match. I don't think that should happen. Straight up babyface final. I don't know. Maybe. Well, I think if Ricky Starks does win, it shouldn't be because of Samoa Joe's interference. It should be because he beat CM Punk.
Well, we know how CM Punk feels about Brett. How does he feel about Owen? I don't think I've ever heard him mention Owen.
Well, he did cut. He cut the promo before at the beginning of the show, and this kind of leans towards CM Punk. He's not in I gotta I'm running a company mode. He's just kind of in get myself over mode. And he's kind of pandering, and he, put over Owen. He was talking about the cup a little bit, but I think if you're a Brett guy, especially like a big Brett guy like CM Punk is, you're kind of also an Owen guy.
We'll see. We shall see. Let's go to the fan mail. Who do 420?
Who?
Mates, what a segment! It was immaculate. The level of range they had at the blink of an eye is awe-inspiring. The Bloodline story is truly the GOAT of this storytelling art form. I mean, hey man, that's what everybody else is saying. Robert Walker. I don't know why I paused like you had a gimmick for him. Hey guys, what's your take on the Collision ratings? It's the summer. People are going on vacation. So, yeah, the ratings are, and it's a Saturday. Yeah, the ratings are not going to be good. Like, I don't know what you want me to say.
Yeah, they're not great.
Like I
But
said,
it does look. I haven't seen I didn't see the ratings for this past weeks, but apparently they did jump up. So they drew 580 last week. That's up 28% from week 3. Which, as I said, 4th of July weekend. It's already hard to be Saturday, let alone a holiday weekend. So, I mean, I thought it was good. That's a good sign for them. But I think this is kind of their watermark. Around 600,000. Maybe they can get up to 700 plus. But we're in mid-July, come September, and especially like October, November, when like the big college football games are starting up, and that's when we're going to run into some issues, and they should expect those issues, hopefully.
we shall see. Who do you 420?
Hootie who.
Mates, how evil is Danhausen? Very, very,
He's very evil, but he's also very nice.
Yes. Copenhagen Smith. Wow.
Oh, damn, he's back.
This is a simple one. Roman, Solo, Jimmy, Jay, Heyman. Bravo. Sometimes,
Amen.
sometimes.
I think, we keep talking about the actual, like, the family, but I think Paul Heyman's just been fantastic. He's very understated at times, but then he kind of goes a little bit over the top as well. And I just think he's played it perfectly. Maybe a time or two he kind of goes a little over the top, but I think Heyman has been fantastic. A beautiful cherry to his Bloodline Sunday.
Yes. He's been a very, very, very great cherry to the Sunday, yes. And Brett is the X, the Hall of Famer.
Mr. X.
Will CM Punk win the Owen Hart tournament, or will they give the push to, I think, a more deserving Ricky Starks? Ricky needs something. He could beat CM Punk. That would be a huge boost for him.
I agree. I mean, as you kind of saw me bounce back and forth, maybe it's not in the match, but maybe during the show, like they do like to do those kind of inset promos. Maybe, Punk is cutting a promo and Samoa Joe attacks him. That gives him a little bit of an out, but Ricky Stark can kind of beat CM Punk relatively clean. So I think that is a route, and I mean, Punk doesn't really need it, as Mr. X said. So I think Ricky Starks could get this win.
Well, that's one of his questions. Speaking of the Owen Hart tournament, would it be interesting to see Joe interfering, costing Punk? Then they can go into their own storyline. We've basically already talked about that. I'll move on to, will Jay be the one to dethrone the Tribal Chief after what we saw at the end of SmackDown Friday? I think he will come he's already pinned him, sure. But I don't think he'll be the one.
Yeah, you heard me say I still feel Cody at WrestleMania is the guy. And he won the Rumble last year, so I don't know if you go down that route again. Austin did it, so he can win it back-to-back years, but maybe, with the two titles, you can have somebody win it and somehow you get Cody involved, but then with the dual brands, that kind of gets a little convoluted. So I don't know, but
they'll find a way to get Cody back over there. But
I still feel it is Cody to win the championship.
Roman is the one, and he's with Paul Heyman, who was the one behind the one in 21-1 when that was a thing. You remember that?
Mm-hmm. How can I forget? Never forget.
How can never forget? That's right. All right, it's going to Monday Night Raw. The Judgment Day is basically on the same page after hashing it out all throughout Monday Night Raw. The Judgment Day defeat Seth Rollins, KO, and Sami Zayn. Big win for the Judgment Day. They needed that. What are your thoughts on the Prince and Senior Money in the Bank being on the same page now?
Yeah, it's interesting. We kind of think and are prepared for the Judgment Day to break up. I still think we're going down that way, but maybe this is kind of just a little Band-Aid on a massive gash that is just oozing blood. It stopped a little bit, but it's probably going to come around and bite back again in the next couple weeks, maybe at SummerSlam, maybe after SummerSlam. But I am liking the Judgment Day right now and kind of liking their dynamic, especially with the added dynamic of Damian Priest with the Money in the Bank contract.
Yes. Shout out Senior Money in the Bank. Shout out Mommy. Shout out Dirty Dom.
Yeah, they did that one thing where Finn was eyeing JD McDonough, and they just completely dropped that. And I haven't seen him on Raw at all. I don't know what's going on with him. If something happened,
we don't know what Finn is planning.
Yeah, but then also it's like, why isn't JD even on television at this point?
Maybe he had something. Maybe he couldn't make the television. Maybe
For the last like 2 months.
he hasn't been gone for 2 months. I felt like he just looked at him. I felt like he just was eyeing him. Was that really 2 months ago?
It probably wasn't 2 months ago, but it feels like it's been a while.
Was it like two? It was like 2 weeks and not 2 months. Do we know? Do we know?
Well, I can't spell. First off, I'm looking up JD McDuffie stats, not JD McDonough stats.
Ooh. All right,
I know.
We're gonna move on from that. Cody challenges Brock Lesnar. Cody, he went into his thing. Everyone has a Brock Lesnar. His just happens to be 6'3", 280. He wants to challenge Brock Lesnar, be done with him, so the Prince can, be king.
Last time we saw him on Raw was the double countdown against Dolph Ziggler on May 29th. But he's wrestled 3 main event matches since then. Not even house shows, just main event.
So he's been on TV then,
I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, so Cody, the Prince wants to be king. He wants to get back to finishing the story. He says he's next in line.
I mean, it makes sense. Cody challenging Brock. We're going to get that SummerSlam, presumably. Brock is going to be there next week. So who knows what Brock is going to do, whether it's just a beatdown, a promo. But
maybe both. Maybe both.
Yeah, maybe both. Probably both, to be honest. And it was a little interesting tidbit that, Cody kind of talk about the elephant in the room a little bit, that, maybe after this, he chases the championship, a championship. He's a little cheeky with it, but we'll see what's going to happen after SummerSlam.
Yes, we will. Buffalo with probably one of the loudest woes we've ever heard.
Yeah, shout out Bill's Mafia.
So, have they found kind of the guy they wanted to be, that white meat baby face? Have they found him? I mean, have they finally found him?
I would say yes. I keep saying, the WWE crowds are much different than they were 5-10 years ago. And they are much more receptive to a guy like Cody, as we saw how he was kind of rejected in AEW. So, and the crowd has loved him right now. Now, could they turn on him eventually? Maybe, but that ain't the case. And I don't see them turning on him anytime soon. So,
yeah, I mean, maybe when the woes die down, then we'll be like,
but he's still making the towns. And I mean, since he's really, he hasn't even been to the Bay Area in WWE, because when they came last year, he was hurt. So
that's right. So he's I know, kind of a home return, a homecoming, if you will, because he did his thing out here on the Bay Area Indies and APW. So we'll see. Ricochet did the thing, the thing where he runs from the ring and jumps over the top rope and lands on his feet. He did the thing.
I mean, I watched Raw on delay, but I didn't see any spoilers, and I was like, oh, he's gonna do the thing, isn't he? He's gonna do the whole flippy do like he did against Velveteen Dream.
Ooh.
Or sorry, name redacted. And
Patrick Clark.
And he did it. Rick, the promo itself, I thought Ricochet was like good. I mean, he was fine. I mean, Logan Paul, I mean, he just came across like a complete jackass, and
that's the point.
I know, and I thought he was doing a very good job at it.
How do you feel about Logan Paul and this? I guess this is the new kayfabe of saying like, hey, you messed it up for both of us, with the messed up Spanish Fly spot.
Okay, I will say that was the one point I didn't like, is kind of the work shoot element of it. Like, I just don't think you need to go there, because it kind of makes everything convoluted, and it's like, okay, so you botched a spot, and because you botched the spot, you couldn't win the match. But Ricochet's whole point is to beat you up so he can win the match, and like that type of like meta commentary, I'm not a big fan of. I was kind of just more talking about the way both of them came across, and mostly Logan Paul for the most part. I mean, I know this is a wrestling podcast, but there's like a lot of other stuff going around with Logan Paul, with like Prime possibly being investigated with the FDA, and like some other things with crypto, and like that.
You had Prime yet?
I have had the energy drink, and that's what's being gonna probably be investigated by the
No,
FDA.
I'm saying you've had one, right? How do you feel?
It's a adequate energy drink. I had the blue raspberry. It tastes just like every other blue raspberry energy drink out there. So it's fine. I wouldn't recommend it or, say don't have it.
But
It's
if somebody handed you one, you're like, yeah, sure, I'll have it.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine. It's not my favorite. I'm not going to go. If I have the pick of the litter, I'm not going to go out of my way to have a prime.
You get your choices are a prime, a full throttle, or a NOS. Which one are you going with?
Well, the fact that I haven't had either of those in, full throttle or a NOS ever, if not in a very long time, probably would go with the full throttle.
You're gonna die. Why would you even drink?
I probably would die, but whatever. I don't care.
Oh Jesus! I had a bang for the first time in a long time, man. I forgot what that tasted like. I had the cotton candy. I was like, Grandma, what are you doing with this? You don't need to be drinking this. I'll take it. And it was a good time.
Had to check to see if Bang was even in business still, because the grocery store I go to, they don't even sell Bangs anymore. I was like,
Didn't you buy those Bang seltzer gimmicks, right? You bought those, right?
Yeah, and they're terrible. The Monster one. Monster has the seltzer. I tried those. Amazing.
You know what?
They taste just like Monsters. Now, I was a little disappointed with the white Monster because I love me a white Monster. That was meh. But the other ones, they have the regular green.
A white little monster.
Shout out. They have a green one. They got a red one. I think, and a white one. I think they have another flavor. Oh, an orange one. Fantastic.
Really? Okay, I'm gonna have to try that. You know what monster thing I had that I thought was delicious? It was a Monster slushie. I was at a Target in Waco, Texas. Or no, I was in Frisco, Texas. And the Target had, the options. You have your usual, your Coke, your cherry, your blueberry. They had a Monster flavor. It's probably the best Monster time I've ever had in my life. I'm gonna be honest with you. Speaking of monsters,
put a monster in the freezer a little too long, gets a little slushy.
Yeah. Speaking of monsters, let's talk about Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. Shayna defeats Emma, which I forgot Emma was even employed. And yeah, they just go at it.
Yeah, Shayna was a killer and she killed poor Emma, and then Ronda comes out and they get into a little bit of a tussle. This time Ronda gets one up on Shayna, so I guess they're even now. I would say, taking the week off from talking is probably a good thing. Just kind of, especially like Ronda talking in front of the crowd, if they are going to go down the route of Ronda. And I don't know if I would say it's like a traditional face heel matchup, but I would just say maybe Shayna Baszler is definitely a heel. Ronda is just kind of Ronda, and take it or leave it.
Yes. The Alpha Academy graduation, Maxine Dupri gets her Letterman. Valhalla comes out there, ruins it. How dare Valhalla?
Can't believe she would do that. Just terrible.
She needs to wear shoes. I'm a little. I get scared for people with these bare feet. Like something's going to tragically go wrong.
You're gonna roll an ankle. Someone's gonna step on you.
Man, I don't need to see busted toes on the TV, man. That's a frightening sight.
I mean, I wasn't checking out Valhalla's toes like that, but
I'm saying like if somebody steps on them, then they just start bleeding. You're like, oh my god. You know what I'm saying? Like if there's enough pressure that on a stump or something, and like they just kind of get split open and start bleeding. You know what I mean?
I get it with your ankle foot history.
Hey man.
That.
It's no joke, man. I'm surprised. I'm still kicking over here. AEW Dynamite, Chris Jericho defeats Commander. Don Callis comes out there, plays some footage from back in '95 before I was alive. With Bad News Brown, and he's saying, Bad News Brown would want them to be together. Jericho made a crack about how he still has his hair, and Don, what happened to yours? Ha ha. I could use a serious Chris Jericho. It's been a while. It's been a little bit.
Yeah, I mean the match itself was fine. Chris Jericho gets a win, something he hasn't really been doing a lot recently. And the the back and forth between him and Don was fun. I did like the footage. I don't know how or where they got that from, but I thought it was great.
They said courtesy of whoever the guy was that.
Yeah, like I know who the hell that guy is. Shout out to that guy though.
Some
But
dude who was trading those tapes back in the day.
I'm surprised Tony Khan didn't have that in his own personal collection.
Hello.
But yeah, I mean, I thought it was a fine segment. They didn't like completely write out that Jericho wasn't going to be the fifth guy, so I think it was like a whole show story kind of about him and is he going to join Don Callis or not, but they didn't kind of fully say he's not going to be part of the BCC. So, jumping ahead to the end of the show, I was a little confused of like, oh, okay, so I guess Jericho's not going to make his decision or whatnot. So I thought that was a little bit confusing because I even had to go back and read reports to see like, did I miss something? But no, they just kind of, I guess it's outside of War Games now, so it's just kind of, is he going to join up with Don Callis?
Yeah. Adam Cole and MJF play video games. MJF says it's nice to shout out MJF, man. He was at Peter Rosenberg's wedding. I heard he gave him a fantastic gift. Yeah.
Well, that's what happens when you're the AEW World Champion, making that money.
I hear Max is a great guy. I hear he's a great guy.
Well, it looks as though Adam Cole is starting to come around.
Yeah,
on MJF
with these playing video games together, and MJF's like, no, it's cool to play with somebody. Don't really have friends, man. That one hit me. Or playing video games as a lonely kid, not having friends.
Still not the biggest fan of this dynamic, in your world title scene.
I thought you were about to be like, I'm not the biggest fan of you having friends. I was about to say, oh dang, man.
Anyways, Phillip, were you that kid going door to door asking if they can get friends?
Have you seen that video too?
I did see that video.
I was like, oh man, I feel bad for this little kid. Like, hey, I'm sorry, buddy. Guys, if you haven't seen it, there's a young fellow going door to door asking for friends and asking to play with people. It did kind of broke my heart. I'm not gonna lie. But
then the internet just threw like $37,000 at him, and he was like, "Okay, cool, I got money. I still don't have any friends. So what the hell is that going to do? What the hell is that going to do?"
Is that really? If that's the case, man, I'm about to go door to door tomorrow. Hello.
But reel it back to the Adam Cole MJF stuff. I don't like it. I mean, yeah, it's kind of ha funny, kind of entertaining in the moment, but. I mean, all the different camera cuts, and it's like we're watching a sitcom. Like, that's just not what I want my wrestling. I want the Bloodline type stuff in my main event world title programs.
No, you see, with the Bloodline, we're watching a movie with Adam Cole and MJF. We're watching a sitcom.
I would much rather watch the movie than the sitcom.
I mean,
MJF you get more invested. You get emotionally invested in a movie. When you watch a sitcom, you're like, oh, okay, this is fun.
Invested in
sometimes
a sitcom,
you could get emotionally invested in a sitcom.
Dude, come on, man.
People trust me. I've watched my fair share of sitcoms. I watch, New Girl, shout out Mindy Project, shout out Superstore. That was a good show back in the day.
People get emotionally invested in sitcoms, man. Friends was on for like 10 years. There are people invested in that stuff.
Never seen it. Never seen Friends. I've never seen Seinfeld, but I would say I'm much more of a Seinfeld guy because I'm a huge Curb Your Enthusiasm fan. Shout out Seinfeld.
I'm not a Seinfeld guy. I'll say it. Like I've seen it. I'm just okay.
I've been seeing some clips on TikTok.
Wow, look at you. But yeah, that's what's going on there. The JAS defeat Darby, Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, I mean, match was fine. Swerve gets involved and kicks Darby, and that leads to the finish. The Dana Garcia and Sammy Guevara, kind of on the same page, kind of not. Who knows what's going on with that? But it makes sense with MJF and Adam Cole winning for them to face a heel tag team in the finals. So I think it was okay, I guess.
That's what's up.
Speaking of Adam Cole and MJF, they defeat Big Bill and Brian Cage, and they advance to the finals. Very confusing because both the commentators and the guys in the ring post-match cut a promo saying that the finals are going to be the 29th on Collision or something like that. But then they ran a graphic multiple times saying that the finals are next week on Dynamite. And it was just, I don't know what the hell was going on there. That was just low rent amateur hour type stuff. Like,
Oh,
Come
they're
on,
gonna
guys.
do
Let's
a
get this
finals.
together.
They're gonna do a finals next week. There's gonna be a schmoz finish, and they're gonna do a rematch on the 29th. No, duh. So what's gonna happen there?
Yeah, I don't know how that happens. Because now I'm confused myself. I don't know what the real date is. Is the real date the 29th or is the real date next week?
Well, you'll find out when you tune into Dynamite next week, buddy.
We'll find out.
Yes. We're going kind of long, so wrap it through this. Swerve defeats Nick Wayne. Shout out Nick Wayne for making his debut. He says he wants to carry on his father's legacy. Came close, but Swerve got him. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, pretty much what I expected. Really good match. I thought the last couple minutes, like the last 5 minutes of this match was just fantastic. 2 great near falls from both guys. And Nick Wayne, I thought they showed a vignette early on where Nick Wayne was talking. I thought Nick Wayne carried himself really good. He impressed. Swerve gets the win, but Wayne doesn't really lose anything in losing. So
no, he does not. So now we know who the members of BCC and the Elite will be. It will be Pac and Ibushi. Don Callis is out there. Kenny Omega's walking out there. John Moxley blindsides him, and when he came out of nowhere and attacked him with the long sleeve black shirt on, I got Shield vibes for a second. I was just like, oh man, I remember those days. Then Pac hits him with a chair, and then Omega's like, look at the screen, and Ibushi pops up. Then the Hung Bucks come out there, and yeah.
I thought the beatdown was good. Nice to see Pac back. I've always really enjoyed his stuff. Maybe if this kind of peels off and we get a Pac Kenny feud leading into, Pac versus Kenny at Wembley. I know we're kind of looking at or maybe Pac and Kenny at All Out when we get Ibushi, Ospreay and Kenny at Wembley. I don't know, but Ibushi is finally happening. 4+ years. We're getting the Golden Elite, the Golden Lovers reunited. I'm excited. This Blood and Guts match is shaping up to be a absolutely fantastic match. Probably the best Blood and Guts match ever, and possibly the best War Games match ever. So I have high expectations for this, and I don't think they're going to disappoint.
I don't think they will. That's going to do it for AEW. We are wrapping it up here. But before we go, we must talk about UGWA. It is happening this Saturday, San Jose Narrative Fermentations. It's kind of become UGWA's, new home base besides Emporium. You can see matches like JT Thorne, the first graduate of the West Coast Pro Academy, going up against Johnny Robbie. You can see Jaya Jewel, the Beast of the Bayou, defend the Beast of the East Championship against Lazarus. You can see the Battle Kingdom consisting of Dave Dutra, Jordan Cruz, and Jordan Blue going up against Midas Creed and Kenny K. Not only that, Total Violence Deathmatch. Bronson goes up against Big Baby Powder. I can't wait for that. You got Nick Xander, my man, going up against Vinny Pacifico. And then also you have a triple threat, Joey Smoke going up against Lyda J and Dave Wasted. Not only that, Marcus Erics versus Abigail Warren. Yeah, I believe that is all that has been announced. You don't want to miss it. Always card subject to change. Narrative Fermentations, San Jose. Doors are at 5. Bell is at 6. And yes, thank you guys so much. As always, be safe and stay dangerous. Danhausen interview coming out Friday.
Everything we did in the time now with the testament. Here is the feeling when we live on the stage. And everything we do, turning the page. Nobody doesn't like us. The feeling when we move, we are excited. Elite podcasting. I know you like it. Yeah, the bullet cast. Fearless. The bullet cast. Fearless. The bullet cast. Fearless. Elite podcasting. We are. The bullet cast now. Fearless. The bullet cast now. Fearless. Elite podcasting. No, we on. Elite podcasting. No, we on.
Cody Rhodes representing the Bullet Club. This has been a Bullet Cast. Thank you for listening.